Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome to the new and improved podcast.
Thank you. Go, Bell.
Through the highs and the lows for 4 years running, the podcasts have been here for you, bringing the victories and the defeats, the joys and the sorrows, and we are just getting started. I'm your show producer, Bella, the coordinator of the chaos. And if you want to talk to Scott, you've got to get through me first, so be nice. Here at the podcast, we do it a bit different. We're all about the investment element of crypto, no hype, but rational and objective context of what we are buying and what we are selling. And we strive to be entertaining and informative while we do it. So strap in, fill your glass, and without any further ado, I give you the podcaster himself, the one and only Great Scott. Dazzle me, boy.
Thank you, Belle. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome to the podcast, and thank you. We're very proud to host the CEO of Jackallabs this evening, Mr. Patrick Dunlop, and he is here to answer all of your questions. Oxford, comma.
You had to drop that on him, didn't you?
No, do you know what I just did? I just Ron Burgundied it. I just said Oxford, comma. I'm so sorry, guys. I never script my monologues, and I just Ron Burgundied it. For those of you who know what an Oxford comma is, you know what I just did. We have Patrick Dunlop, and he's here to answer all of your questions. They will be asked in the order received. So if he knows something you need to know, and he likely does, get him in early. Patrick is complete. He's just a force in nature. You're going to see for yourself. We will be having a discussion between the two of us for, 15, 20 minutes or so. Take a short break. Then the rest of the show, it's all yours, guys. The one thing we love about this audience more than anything else is it's the hands down the most intelligent audience in crypto. It's not that you guys ask questions. It's that you ask the right questions. And I couldn't be happier about it. So I don't really care about price discussion, and I don't really do them on the live streams. But as I got a direct email, and he seemed very agitated, I thought I would address it right now during the monologue so that we can get to work. Am I concerned about the Jackal price? It's falling. He said it with a big exclamation point. No, sir, I am not. And let me tell you why. I like to add context. All right, I'm not a yes or no kind of guy. One. If you're not selling, today, the price, it's not relevant. People tend to get really, really hung up on the prices of their long tokens, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I appreciate the dopamine rush as much as anyone, but the value of this chain, Jackal, right now, without the spinning rims, is it's also very, very critically undervalued for where it's going to be. Customers, partnerships, unique terabytes. That is the value proposition of Jackal. And considering the space they occupy, which is data storage, $320 billion annual industry, and it's growing so fast, you wouldn't believe it. I consider their success, says there's success, pretty much inevitable. People are trying to assign uh, Jackal a valuation compared to crypto, and it's not a crypto. It is a privacy focused blockchain storage protocol that offers consumers something they have never had before: sovereignty with their data. Nobody else does it. Jackal does not use a central bridge. It is directly between the user in and the protocol. It's inevitable. But two, like to do context. Putting on my crypto bro hat. Hate to do that, man, but I'm going to go ahead and do it here, Bella. It's the podcast. It's up 3,700% in 7 months. And, sir, I got to ask, man, where's the bar for you? All right, 10x and 20x, those are YouTube thumbnail fodders. It doesn't happen that much, but it did for Jackal. Don't focus on the price. Focus on the tech. They are not a magic internet money company, finding ways to squeeze dimes out of nickels. When they announce a partnership, it means data will flow to their servers, data that must be paid for. When their user base increases, data flows to servers. This is very, very easy with incredibly easy, measurable standards. Focus on the tech. It's a buzzword all over the DeFi, but it is all about the tech in DePIN, and you know how to measure their success. Now, I spotted this one a long time ago. I had the founders on the stream years. I mean, years ago. I can't believe it's that long, Bell, but it was years ago. And it didn't matter how rough the start was, because I know this industry. I've spent my life in this industry, and I know what it takes. Turns out that they know what it takes too. I spend most of my investment life as a scalper. You guys know this. You've seen the show. You followed me. You guys know what I do. All right. I'm mercenary capital. I am involuntarily arbitraging capital from bad projects to good projects, from bad chains to good chains. It is my recipe for success, and it has worked out very, very well for me. Jackal is where I move my, oh, I can't say that either, my entertainment. It's where I move my entertainment to. I spread it out. You know, you got it, man. Diversity is good for any portfolio. But I want you guys to look what I moved very, very heavily into. Jackal, Akash, Kudos, Render. Are any of these projects hurting right now? Any of them? No. 2024 and 2025 will be the years of DePIN, and you ain't seen nothing yet, man. I don't even think we've seen the start of this one. Anyway, I hope that answers the question, and we shall speak about it no more. Patrick has been. I hope Patrick's on. Belle, did Patrick make it on?
Patrick did make it on, yes.
Okay.
Told you he would.
Again, anyway, I hope that answers that question. I'm not talking about price anymore. You got CoinGecko, man. Knock yourself out. But I do have to ask, Patrick, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Hey Scott, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a good week at Jackallabs, that's for sure.
Uh,
It's a lot of stuff from Outpost to RAG frameworks to integrations to just getting 1% better every day. That's kind of what we like to focus on internally.
yeah, and that is certainly your that's certainly been your catchphrase, man. And you guys are doing it, dude. One per every day, man. It's just something new. Anyway, we're gonna do this as if we don't have never met each other. So if you could, Mr. Dunlop, could you please take some time and introduce yourself and your project to our audience?
Of course. So my name is Patrick Dunlop. I'm the co-founder of the Jackal Protocol, and I'm the CEO of Jackal Labs. So that's kind of my background is digital forensics. We got into this space trying to solve a problem with digital evidence and chain of custody and maintaining clean forensics environments and cloud environments. So one thing led to another, and we ended up building a public cloud environment after about 4 years now. We started November 2021. It's been a wild ride, but for us, when you look at what the Jackal protocol is, so number one, it's I guess this new buzzword that came along. We were here before this one arrived, but decentralized physical infrastructure network is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So there is a blockchain that is like the police of this cloud environment, and then there's this storage peer-to-peer network. So we have two peer-to-peer networks, one with validators, one with storage providers. And what they do is the validators police who has access to what data at what time. It makes sure that data continuously is stored. It makes sure that there's redundancy for the data, and it makes sure that the data is available at a given moment. So kind of to distill that down, it's essentially a decentralized self-custodial Dropbox with the highest digital privacy and cybersecurity posture in the entire world. Um, at the end of the day, it's a private cloud environment. So your ledger, your crypto wallet can be a like an infinite USB drive, really, where you just have access to scalable hot storage, and that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, you guys have absolutely nailed this thing, man. I know for a fact because every single thing that I've ever done with this show that is stored digitally is stored on Jackal. All of it, everything, every video, every thumbnail, every script, every monologue, everything has been pushed up to Jackal storage. So if the worst should happen and this computer should happen to go kablooey, guess what? It's still there. It's right there on Jackal, man. All I got to do is put the wallet, another computer, download it. I have everything back. Now, I still, I like that. I like the fact that I can, custody my data. 3 times redundancy. It's up there. You're not going to lose it. I guarantee I'm going to get it back. I mean, we're all good about that. I still don't really see that as the real value prop on this one. The real value prop on this one is the fact that it's hot storage, and people just don't talk about. I mean, most people don't understand the difference between hot storage and cold storage, and I'm saying that the big difference is another zero on your bill every single month for the difference between hot storage and cold storage. And the fact that you guys are doing this at hot storage, and I mean, dude, I've simulated it with you sitting on the other side of the screen. This is how quick I get the video back. This is how quick it plays from the dashboard. I mean, it's shocking. It's a little bit, I still don't know how you do it. I've had Marston on here to explain it to me. I was like, tell me how you do it. Then he did, and I didn't understand it anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely shocking. And I keep hearing these comparisons between jackals like Filecoin or jackals like Arweave or jackals like jackals like nothing else that is out there in the market. Could you elaborate a little bit on the difference, please, between hot storage and cold storage? It is such an important point that just gets missed and glossed over constantly.
Of course. So hot storage means that your data is readily available when you want to recall it. So let's say that if you're on Twitter and a photo is put in a tweet, that's usually hot storage because every time someone scrolls, they need to have it, right? So that's kind of the ability to retrieve data really, really quickly is what hot storage is. Cold storage, on the other hand, is kind of like an archiving system. So if you don't need to access the data for a really long time, you can put it into cold storage where it's either put onto drives or sometimes tape, and it takes a long time to get your data back. So not to knock Filecoin or Arweave at all, right? It's what they do is they just do different things, and we're so early that everyone's kind of in their niche of one. But if you look at Filecoin, for example, they're really awesome when it comes to putting stuff to rest for a really long time. So if you want to back up the Internet Archive or back up Wikipedia and stuff that's public by default, and you want a good place to put that, Filecoin's a great option. It's super cheap, and you get your files back within sometimes 24 hours. It just depends on the process that they have in place there. But that's one thing. Arweave, it's kind of like pay once, store forever. Again, it's kind of like more of like a warm storage to cold storage. It takes a long time to retrieve it. But kind of the big differences between all the protocols, right? So Filecoin, Arweave, they kind of run on proof of work blockchains first and foremost. So they're kind of they're really secure, and they really have it's a good place to put your data if you're looking to archive it or have something public by default. Sometimes publishing things like that, but we're a modular interchain storage layer, right? And the beauty of Jackal is the ability to have modularity, proof of stake speeds, hot storage. And one thing that is unique to us that no one has is we have IBC and the ability to do IBC outposts. So that's the inter-blockchain communication protocol. So let's say you're a developer, for example, right? And you're building on Archway, which is another blockchain in the Cosmos ecosystem. If you want decentralized storage, you have two options before Jackal existed, right? You have option number one is you use like a Microsoft or AWS, Alibaba Cloud, depending on where you are in the world, of course. And with that, you have this centralized choke point of failure. And if you forget to pay your credit card, or a developer just gives up on the project, all the data is going to be gone once they stop paying for that. Your other option is you can use like Falcon or Arweave, right? Um, your options there are you can use a centralized API where there's like an L2 where they put it on like an Amazon, and then you use an API to integrate with that, and then they archive it to Filecoin. It's a little bit of a workaround way to get kind of like a hot storage, but it's not really true to the core values of decentralization. Or your other option is to leave Archway and then go build directly on top of Filecoin. That's not really a good trade-off for a lot of developers because you don't really have a community. There's no liquidity. It's not really a great place to build like an NFT marketplace, for example, right? So with Jackal and IBC, we have this unique opportunity where instead of forcing developers to come build on our monolithic blockchain, we can integrate directly through IBC technology where any developer on any blockchain can have easy access to scalable hot storage with a simple smart contract call without any friction at all, or having to make trade-offs or having to leave your entire protocol. And we think that's really important for the progression of this technology. And we think it's really important for blockchain ecosystem as a whole.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So me and you were going to have a chat, but I saw a perfect question. Somebody just served it up, Bell. Do you see the one from Political that just came in?
I do, yes.
Why don't you ask that question? Because Patrick and I are going to discuss this. So go ahead and ask that question, please.
Will there be an application for Android and iPhones to increase storage?
Funny you should.
Scott.
I know, right, man?
Scott, will there be one? I don't know.
15 days from now, there's going to be the very first, to our knowledge, Web3 storage app that is going to be mobile compatible, and it's called Amuse. Now, Patrick and I have been discussing this because it's been in development for a while. Apps are pricey, dude. I don't know if you guys have built out any yet, but man, those aren't cheap. But what this is going to allow you to do is something so simple but so revolutionary at the same time. I don't think people are really going to be able to grasp the underlying fundamentals of the back end of this thing here. So yes, in 15 days, Amuse is going to launch for Android. And what this is going to allow you to do is take your data from your Android phone and put it on Jackal storage without ever really being aware that you're touching Web3. Now, we took some little bit of license here. You know we had to, all right? Our whole idea is consumer-focused. That's it. Jackal has nothing to do with this. We're utilizing their platform because they allow anyone to utilize their platform. And in my opinion, the end result is more important than the method. In this case, making sure that your data is secure, 3 times redundancy, and there forever. So you're going to be able to download our app. You're going to be able to select your file. You're going to hit send, and it's going to end up on Jackal. Now, we struggled a little bit here, Patrick, as we were trying to figure out how do we really test this. You can't really show this live on a live stream. So what I did is I went out and I got an Android phone. I hate Android, by the way. Windows is a better operating system than Linux, all right, by any measurable standard, meaning I understand Windows and I don't understand Linux. I don't understand this phone, but I figured out how to take a picture. So we figured the good way to test this is that I'm going to take a selfie. I'm going to show everybody the picture. I'm going to hit send through Amuse, and then I'm going to open up the Jackal dashboard over here on my PC, and I'm going to show you the same selfie that ends up over there on Jackal. So would you say that that is probably an adequate test to prove that the route is there and that it ends up on Jackal?
It's a pretty cool test. I think that would be pretty fascinating if that works, Scott.
It's going to work, dude. We got it, man. It's doing it now, man. But the whole kicker is if we keep waiting and putting on spinning rims and new paint jobs and all that other stuff, we'll never release because you guys keep putting out new features quicker than we can integrate them into the app. When you guys release V4 and you release file sharing, I'm not going to CLI it, but when you guys actually release it, you're going to be able to transfer data from phone to phone by your contact list. Anybody who's using Amuse, and it's limitless file size. If I want to send 4.6 gigabytes of data, I can click the file. I can click the person I want it to go to. I'm going to stress the hell out of your providers, out of your validators, out of everything. And then it's going to be available to somebody on their phone with no file size restrictions. Who is doing that now? Patrick, you are...
And no middleman. And no middleman.
And no
either, right?
middleman. Who in the industry is doing that? You live in this industry, Patrick. Tell me who can do that right now.
Yeah, it's by leveraging like a SaaS application. Usually you have to give the data to a third party, right? So it's who's doing that right now? I don't know many people that are doing file transfer using on-chain permissions, but yeah, we're probably the first, if not one of the first, to toy with this technology and use it for something other than finance.
Yep, and we're leveraging the hell out of your effort, so I certainly appreciate you for it. It's launching as a freemium. It's launching as a freemium model, by the way, guys. I'm paying for it. You're gonna get the 2 gigabytes. Let us put the spinning rims on it, and then we'll talk about everything else. But for right now, it's proof of concept. We're putting it out. Hope you guys use it. So anyway, we're gonna take a very, very short break. I got to talk to Patrick for a second. We're coming back with questions. Do we have some questions coming in here, Belle, or is it just gonna be the Scott and Patrick show?
Well, okay, our audience always hammers Patrick with questions. Yes, we've got a lot, actually.
All right, guys, give us 60 seconds. Let me touch base with the CEO for a minute. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you. I didn't even get my questions in. I had 3 questions for Patrick, and I didn't get to ask them because we babbled too long talking about Amuse. Anyway, guys, look, we don't like we don't like to do the show. We like you to do the show. So it sounds like we're perfectly well loaded up. Belle, please take it away. Interview Patrick. I'm going to sit here and drink.
All right. So, Patrick, first question coming in from HDGV. I asked Patrick about Packet PKT. He said he would check it out. Can that be a mini topic of conversation today?
Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet, but I remember that Twitter reply. I think it's like a decentralized Uber type product, if I remember correctly. I might be getting this wrong, but it looks really exciting. I like anything that's leveraging blockchain technology for different things, right? At the end of the day, it's just a fancy spreadsheet. It's a magic spreadsheet that we have in hand, and it's just software, right? A lot of people, obviously, we built this blockchain technology, and then people worked on money and finance and perpetuals and synthetics and lending and stable coins and all these things. But it's kind of becoming that time for the deep tech startups to start to emerge that kind of take a long time to build. And it's really exciting just overall that we can leverage these spreadsheets of who has what things at what time in a way that is for things outside of finance. And we're excited to be one of the first to do it.
It was, I'm sorry, but I'll get right back to you. Was that package, was that, or are you talking about OnRide? I know they have an app going out on OnRide. It's built on Juno.
No, PKT, guys.
Packet.
So
is that,
yeah.
Clearly neither of us have looked into it. Patrick, I will do the research on your behalf. I'll give you a 1-page. Belle, please carry on.
Oh, it looks like an internet access type product.
Are you going to look at it right now?
Sure.
Look at it right now.
It looks really cool. It looks really cool. I need to look into it a little bit more. I don't have anything to say on it though right now. I'm a little bit busy right now with all the things we have going on. We need more people on staff is what we need, Scott.
Okay.
All right. In AlphaDelta coming in next. Jackal posted this. Soon, actually decentralized storage with a simple smart contract call locally
Ooh.
on every blockchain. The power of IBC and Jackal outposts. Can you expand on this?
Yeah, so we touched on this a little bit earlier, right? And the special thing about building a modular stack and having a little bit of a last mover's advantage when it comes to just storage layers in general is we have all the benefits of the technology that's come out since 2017, right? So with that, we have IBC, and leveraging IBC, developers don't have to make sacrifices. So if you want decentralized storage, you don't have to get your credit card out, go pay for an API that creates a centralized choke point of failure, and you have to sacrifice something always and use decentralized storage currently. That being said, using IBC Outpost is something that B's been working on, and Serdar from the Interchain Foundation has been working on specifically, is these interchain controller contracts where we can deploy an outpost on another chain. They have all the functionality of Jackal. We can use payments and other tokens. We can take stable coins, or we can take other assets that we choose. And the beauty of that is the concept that now any developer on any blockchain that we deploy an outpost on can access scalable decentralized storage with a simple smart contract call. And it's just comes out of the box. You're just ready to go, so that we can kind of actually build like full stack decentralized applications and new verticals outside of finance. Think about things like AI. You can think about things like peer-to-peer transfer, e-signatures, decentralized science, data marketplaces. I can go on and on about the different things that we can build with this technology now that we have it available and the infrastructure is catching up.
All right, so that actually feeds very nicely into the next comment, followed by a question. Makoka to Streamwalker would like to have automatic backup of my computer onto Jackal. Robbie Smith asks, will I be able to have automated backup to the Jackal protocol for my computer?
Of course, yeah. So what we're working on right now, we're looking at Q4, so you guys are gonna have to be patient with us. We have a lot of development to do, but we're looking at building different backup applications. So we're working on Microsoft 365 backups, for example, so we can help MSP providers with just having mailbox backups and things like that. Also something that Aaron has been looking into, who is our integrations guy and just savant when it comes to all things front end integrations. He is working on an actual desktop application so we can be integrated locally, so we can run automations like that. The question is not really if, but it's a question of when. And it's a lot of hurdles, right? If you look at blockchain technology where it is right now, like we're still in the 90s when it comes to the things that we can do with this like innovative technology overall. And that being said, it just takes a little bit of time, but we're working on that specifically right now. And I know that Scott's working. He has his Android app coming out, and it's probably not going to be very long until you can do backups from your phone, clear out your camera roll. I know that's something my girlfriend complains about all the time, is that her phone's always full of photos. So just having things like that and increasing quality of life when it comes to just data management overall, while not sacrificing privacy, security posture, we think it's wonderful. So it's 100% something we're looking to do.
You know what? It's funny that you said that. I was thinking about that today because I got a new laptop. I got a big Alienware i9 latest generation, dude. We're going mobile. You know, I'm retiring, so I'm going to be broadcasting.
You're retiring, Scott?
Yeah. I did very, very well. I bought Jackal at 2. So yeah, we're moving on, and we're changing our focus over to Web3. But I was actually thinking about that because Amuse doesn't require signatures, because we take care of all of that. It would really be nothing for us to apply the tech to a desktop app and allow you to assign permissions to the app. What do you want it to download? Or what do you want it to back up? That we could literally do that and just have it embedded in there, and it's going to take care of it'll just take care of it for you. But if you guys are going to build it in Q4, I'm going to change over to something else because we got something else in mind. But if you're building it, so if you're building it, we'll go ahead and let you do it. We're going to do it without signing transactions.
Yeah, our GitHub's open source, so you can always see what we're building. So,
I know.
Yeah, 100%. We can let you know, but on that front, right? We're focused on building and stewarding the infrastructure. At the end of the day, we love when app builders come and people that are going to build applications on top of our stack. Nothing makes us happier, right? at the end of the day, we've deployed 4 apps by Jackallabs on top of the blockchain so far. But we also love the ability to just make sure we can do developer evangelism and make sure that everyone's well taken care of when they're building as well at the same time. So
well, that's kind of a
love any and all developers.
That's kind of a problem for us. Every time you guys let loose another integration, we have to integrate it. So I have to now add another button. Would you like this file stored for 200 years? Click here. So now we have to change it. That's why, dude. If we don't release, you have 15 developers, I have 2. So if we don't release, we'll never keep up with you. I'm sorry. Carry on, Bill.
Yeah, I wish I had 15 developers.
All right. So, old man, does the Jackal team fear for their lives once Big Brother discovers what Jackal actually does?
Oh my goodness, Big Brother. I'm not really worried. Privacy is fundamental human right and is protected by a lot of things, right? So it's an open source public good that is meant for the entire world. So at the end of the day, if anything, I could see Big Brother forking the Jackal protocol and building like a private version or things along those lines. It's just technology, it's just software at the end of the day.
All right. HDGB, and I'm assuming this is regarding Amuse. Can you add it to F-Droid? Is it open source?
Can you add it to F-Droid?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know what that is. At the end of the day, I wish I understood. I might have to do a little bit of research on that, but if possible, if it's an integration and it's not too difficult, I'm sure that our guys will take care of it. I know we're working on our clone right now and just having it in that tool set. So 100%, if it's doable, we're trying to get as many terabytes onto the system as possible at the end of the day.
All right, Robbie Smith, and this one is actually an Amuse related question, so I don't expect you to know the answer to this one, Patrick, but will there be an Amuse app for iPhone as well? Robbie, yes, it is coming, but iPhone has some particularly pain in the butt requirements that you've got to go through to launch anything on the App Store for them. So yeah,
iPhone is incredibly picky about what goes on that store, and as soon as you have Web3 on there whatsoever, all of a sudden every flag in the world goes up. So that's why we went with Android first. But our very, very loose roadmap right now is we're launching the alpha/beta. It's ready, but we're going to put alpha on the top. So if we get any bad feedback, it's like, well, what do you want? It's alpha. So we're putting that up on top, but our loose roadmap.
That's the trick, Scott. If you put alpha on it, you can't get in trouble.
You can't get in trouble, man. So yeah, that part's going up first. Then we're going to be looking for 2.0. That's where we start adding the spinning rims and the features and the paint job and all that stuff. And once we're comfortable with that, then our sole focus is on iOS, because we don't want to alienate half the planet. So we have time to fight Apple on this, but yeah, we're going to get it done. Anyway, carry on, Bill.
Makokata Streamwalker, will there be a way to make my Jackal storage look and act like an attached hard drive or flash drive?
Oh, how cool would that be?
Ooh, that would be so cool. That would be so cool. The issue predominantly is when you look at just blockchain and Web3 companies in general, your distribution is kind of managed by the wallet provider, right? So for us to make like a desktop application, we would have to figure out a way to build like a wallet into the background that's purpose built for storage, right? So until then, right now, we're kind of boxed in by Kepler and Leap, and it makes sense, right? Because we haven't built our own wallet that's purpose built for the specific application. Would that be awesome? 100%. If we can get there with a desktop application, I'd be really, really happy if we could do that.
Benji following up to that one going, when?
Everybody, listen to your customers, dude. You know what? Walt Disney said it. Find out what the people want and build it. You just found out what the people wanted. Carry on, Bill.
Last question for the moment coming in from Mud23. Will we be able to import our own Jackal address to Amuse, or will it make a separate one for us?
As of right now, we're taking care of the back end. All right, in 2.0 and all that other stuff. Right now, guys, look, it's proof of concept more or less for us. We want to prove to the entire world that we can get the data from your phone to Jackal storage. All right, and we want to do it with the the least amount of headache for the consumer. We are completely consumer focused. We're not enterprise grade. We're not any of that. We are focused on the consumer, and we are gambling clearly because I've bootstrapped this whole thing. We're gambling that more people will certainly appreciate the tech itself, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the cost that we're doing it at. That's our competitive feature, is the fact that we can do this so cheaply because Jackal is inexpensive. If we wanted to do this, we could easily do something like this on Amazon Web or Facebook, but the costs are going to triple, and nobody wants to pay that. So why not utilize Web3? Because it is more efficient, it's private, safe, secure, all these other things, triple redundancy. I want you to think about that for a second, because again, this is another thing that just gets completely glossed over. When your file goes up, go ahead, Patrick, you explain triple redundancy.
It's pretty special, right? Because people look at Jackal and they say, wow, it's like $8 per terabyte, right? And it might be $28 a month per terabyte on Amazon. So it's like not 10x better. But things people forget is if you want like triple redundancy, like geo-distributed redundancy, which is usually the standard if you're building like an enterprise application, is you need redundant data storage in case something floods or a server explodes or something like that. It's really important to have redundancy, and to have 3 times redundancy that's geo-distributed without ingress or egress charges, which is a big one. You're looking at like $200 a month per terabyte. It's maybe even north of that, just because you're paying for every time you upload it to a specific server. And then you're paying for the ingress and egress between all the redundant servers as well. So it's 10x better when you actually look under the hood, but we might need to get better at the marketing of it, maybe.
Yeah, and that's honestly, again, dude, you're in my wheelhouse now, right? This is what I do. This is what I've been doing. I have one of our guests, one of our viewers tonight, has also been doing this for 30 years, his entire life, so he understands what I'm talking about on here. The worst does happen, even in the legacy world. Your Facebook, your Microsoft, your Amazon, everybody. The worst does happen, and they do take outages on occasion. And when they do, everything stops. 100% stops. The customer cannot access their data. The customer cannot access their servers. The customer is completely locked out during these outages. They cost millions of dollars per second when that occurs. And this occurs a hell of a lot more than you would think. With Jackal, because we can get that file from Des Moines, from Croatia, from Germany, because that's where the storage providers happen to be, and because it's geo-distributed, it would take a complete act of God to actually shut this down. So we continue to kind of tap dance around this as if it really doesn't matter. It really matters. So yeah, when you guys do start really focusing up on your marketing, you got to ding that, dude. I mean, I could send you horror stories of what has happened because I've lived through them.
It's pretty special stuff at the end of the day, right? It's the way that we can do it. It's not just like 3 times. So you have 3 targets on the files, which would be the attack vectors to take the file offline, right? The cool thing about Jackal is, since we have this blockchain and this fancy spreadsheet, we can run these things. We call them the internal detection of loss algorithm and the proof of persistence protocol. These things, essentially, if a file drops off of the Jackal protocol network, storage provider unplugs or something crazy happens, internet goes out, the blockchain realizes after a certain amount of time that storage provider isn't submitting proofs or attestations of that file to the protocol directly. So what will happen is the protocol itself and the validators will come to consensus and break that file deal and then automatically rebind it with a new provider. So this is pretty fascinating overall, where you have auto-healing data storage. So if something created a nuclear bomb hits the East Coast and all the data centers are out there, all the files that would be there, those storage deals would break pretty quickly, and then they would be remade across the world, and then they would be copied from the other forms of redundancy. So it's pretty cool stuff at the end of the day.
It's absolutely shocking. Belle, do we got any more questions? Or again, is this the me and Patrick show from now on?
All right. So Microman actually chimed in with a comment. No more questions for the moment, but he did throw out a really good comment. For me, the security of Jackal storage is far more important than the amount I can get.
It's interesting, right? And That's something I know Jaden's probably listening right now. He's our growth guy, where you don't want to compete on price. You never want to compete on price. At the end of the day, it's the value propositions that we deliver is pretty special stuff. And the other cool thing, if you think about it overall, right, it's we've done a lot of interviews with different industries and organizations about what they care about, and everyone cares about different things as well, right? So, for example, it was Microman that I think you just said, right?
Yes, it was
Mi-
Microman.
Micro Microman cares about security, privacy, ownership, right? That's his core values. He's into the blockchain stuff. He's vision aligned with us on that, right? That's what he cares about. But the other cool thing, if we talk to a telecom company that we onboarded for all their data backups and security of that, for them, what they care about is geo redundancy. They want service level agreements. They want to sue us if anything bad happens to the data. But what they do really want is geo redundant, secure backups that's verifiable on chain. That's really special to them. And if you look at an application developer that's building an NFT marketplace, they don't really care about privacy, right? They're publishing NFTs for everyone to see at a given moment. Obviously, you can have additional layers where you can have private NFTs or programmable privacy with the NFTs, where you only get to see it if you purchase the NFT, stuff like that. But what they really care about is ease of use and integration. So they care about having a smart contract locally, a Jackal outpost that they can call and use that. So the beauty of Jackal is really is modular. Number one, it's interoperable with is for the entire interchain. But the other cool thing is everyone cares about different things, and Jackal is special to an individual depending on what their values are and the value props that they care about. And it's malleable enough to fit that description a lot of the time too.
All right, I'm stopping you here for a second, Bell. I want to back up and roll back the clock here about 45 seconds. Did you guys onboard a telecom company, or was this hypothetical?
No, we've onboarded with a pilot right now. We've onboarded a telecom company in Iowa.
Did you happen to make an announcement on this and I just missed it? Because usually if it says Jackal on it, I'm pretty much Johnny on the spot there. Did I miss this?
No, we want to make sure everything is sound and everyone's happy and the integration went seamlessly before we announce everything. So we usually blockchain companies they announce something before they it's even done. We kind of like to be on the other side of it where we want to announce after it's done.
So you're in a pilot program with an Iowa-based telecom company. Now, you know I'm from Iowa, right? I'm currently in Des Moines, Iowa, and the industry that I work in gives me a little bit of clarity on which telecom companies actually exist here. Are you saying that you're in a pilot program with one of these telecom companies? I'd just like to confirm that. You don't have to name them. I know who it would be.
It's a little bit more than a pilot, but we're securing all of the user data of a specific telecom company in the state of Iowa. Yes.
I, you know, yeah, that's Bell giggling. Guys, I've said this a lot. I'm going big screen here, Patrick, so you can go ahead and scratch your nose if you need to. I've long said on this one, man, you can't look at Jackal is not exactly, it's not a crypto. All right, Doge is a crypto. Bitcoin is a crypto. Uh, what Jackal is decentralized physical infrastructure. That means blinking lights. And when you're talking about blinking lights, the faster they blink, the more money that's going to be earned for whoever's causing them to blink. The things that will speed these up is partnerships, users, all these other good things. We anticipate amuse, and it's a bold number because crypto people tend not to use crypto products. If they did, everybody out here would have Audius on their phone. Everybody would be using Orchid or a DVPN VPN, and most people aren't. Typically, the people that are over in this space are here to invest and not really utilize the products. They want to invest and hope other people utilize them, never knowing that the best products that you could possibly use are sitting right over here, sitting right over here. Orchid is on my phone. Audius is on my phone. All of these good, solid Web3 projects are sitting on my phone. My phone browser is Decenter. And in 15 days, my Dropbox is going to be Jackal. All of this is coming here, and it's all coming now because the stars are just lining up. I didn't know about this one. Patrick never. We don't talk a lot, but I'm trying to process this. Is what I'm saying here, Val. I'm trying to process this because as soon as you crack the telecom nut, as soon as you start hitting that, you now have You've proved it out to every other telecom company that would like to save money, that you can do it. You can do it successfully, and you can save them money while you're doing it. So it's one of those floodgate kind of things. Somebody has to be the first into the wall, and it sounds like you're piloting them a little bit more than that right now. Or am I completely misunderstanding this, Patrick?
No, it's completely correct. Specific industries, like we keep an eye on regulations. So if specific industries get regulated, that they're forced to have backups at a given moment in time, right? So new regulation comes down, everyone has to have redundant backups. That's a no-brainer for us. So we do a lot of outreach when those things happen. And on top of that, if that's what you, if I haven't shared that with you, imagine what I'm not sharing with you right now.
I
So
know.
you'd be blown
That's why
away.
I'm dancing on the screen, dude. Oh, bring it. Make me gush, dude. Go ahead. Feel free,
Of
man.
course.
I'll deal with it.
No, there's nothing to say. There's nothing. I'll let you guys know when everything's closed and the deals are signed, of course.
God, you play it close. All right, Bell. Anything else, or I'm just gonna finish it up because I could talk this for a good hour and a half.
All right, Cosmos Joe coming in. Why don't you give Patrick a hard time like you do to Ethan and Eric?
All right, you know what? I'll take this one. I'm going to give him a hard time right now. Patrick, I'm going to ask you a question here, dude. You are under no obligation to answer this question. I just want to make sure you know that. If you don't want to, go ahead and pass. But I ask this for every founder, every developer, every person who appears on this show. I ask this one very question, and I'm pretty sure you know why I'm asking it. How much revenue are you earning, and how much revenue are you burning?
Of course. So like Jackallabs, we burn about 50K a month. We got really lean during the bear market, so we're gonna have to scale up again. So that's how much we burn. From Jackallabs perspective, like revenue that we make,
Yep.
we're still a startup, right? So it's a lot of third-party investment that keeps us going. But for the Jackal protocol, right now, like protocol revenue per user, we clear about like $110. I think it just went down 2.82% to like 95 point like $8. But that's mostly because we enabled single file uploads with Radiant and Beacon. So that kind of changes the entire economic parameters of, because usually you'd have to like do $8 a month per terabyte for storage. But now that you have single file publishing for 200 years, then like users are like uploading one file. So it changes, but then in turn we get more users. So I'm not really too worried about our growth projections. I think that we're doing pretty fine from a balance sheet perspective. We run a really tight ship, a really lean ship here. So the good thing about that, right, is every metric that we really have is going parabolic. Paid users is up like 104%. Like storage purchase is up like 13%. And this is within a month. This isn't like year to date. This is between January and I guess it's year to date because January just started a few weeks ago. But between January and February, obviously TVL is going crazy, like up 90%. Yeah, protocol storage revenue is up 77% in a month. Yeah, so like so far this year, like the protocol's like made about $85,000 in storage payments.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
but
move.
Time out for 1 second though, and this is really important about like when you look at like the blockchain industry as a whole, you have one-dimensional applications and then multi-dimensional applications, right? So you have the dApps, like the DEXs and the perpetuals and all these applications. They're single dimensional and they can build their application, they can deploy their application, they can find product market fit very, very quickly. And then they can find revenue very, very quickly. That being said, when you look at the deep end startups, they're kind of in a different category when it comes to your investment horizon and how long it takes for a company to become profitable and find product market fit. This is because they're multidimensional. This is really, really different between when you compare, it's like comparing like SpaceX to like comparing it to Snapchat, right? Snapchat, single dimensional, you build an app, you deploy it on the phone, it's a mobile application. It's pretty much like the easiest product to build and find product market fit. SpaceX, on the other hand, like if you want to have a Starlink, you have to build the Starlink, you have to get all the materials to build the Starlink, you have to hire all the staff, you have to build the rockets, make the rockets reusable. And you have all these different dimensions throughout the entire process that you need like 5 different components to work in harmony and like seamlessly before you can get one thing to work. Downside of that is a lot of these companies they're going to fail. right? It's we're just looking at the numbers. They're harder to build, but the hardest things to build also provide the biggest amount of value. And this is really different. The hardest things to build, they eat huge chunks of the market because they're actually transformative to humanity. We're playing a different game here, right? And the long game, the winners in this space that are going to actually eat those large chunks, the moats are going to be huge. The market value and the market capitalization of a given market, whether it's storage, whether it's store chain doing things with automobiles and insurance, they're 10x better, right? And they have all kinds of different things, pricing power advantages. You have security and privacy advantages for us. You have sovereignty, ownership, open source, low platform risk. You have all these different things that are so competitively advantaged. And then the last thing that's most important that no one thinks about is the moats that are set up by legacy companies for us to like come into. It would never be possible before blockchain technology. Reason being is we can set up protocol incentives so that everyday individual people can contribute to the public infrastructure around them. So all the capex is bootstrapped by a community for a public good. This is very, very different, right? And the capex that I would need to go head to head with Google, for example, billions of dollars per data center, there's no chance a startup can do that. But by leveraging blockchain technology and having people contribute storage to the network and spin up machines, and we're able to get these hot storage speeds by just having cracked developers on staff, really, really, really special. And being able to cross that moat and then 10x a bunch of different features and a bunch of different value for all kinds of different people. If we can get there, it's worth it. I've already contributed 3 years of my life to it, so I believe that we're going to be one of the teams to do it, and if we are, it's going to be really, really special overall.
Well, you've already I make a lot of videos on behalf of Jackal, showing people how to use it. Look, it's this easy, man. They don't ask who you are. They don't care who you are. They say, can you pay for the data storage? And do you have a Kepler wallet or a Leap wallet? You do? Well, welcome to Jackal, just like that. You can't get that anywhere else. I know, because I go everywhere. I go to Cardano. I go to Solana. I go to all of these different chains trying their DPIN. I've borrowed your CTO a couple times when I saw something that looked a little wonky, and I said, "Hey, Marston, what am I seeing here?" And he looks at it for 5 seconds and he says, "Yeah, Central Bridge." I was like, "Okay, well, I guess we're done." You guys are doing something that's I'm sorry if I sound like I'm gushing. I'm gonna dox myself a little bit here, guys. Look, and I am a all the way down libertarian kind of person. The thing that is most important to me more than anything else is sovereignty, is privacy, is my business remaining my business, and that includes my data. We seem to take such a cavalier attitude towards this, and people are using Google, and they're using Google Cloud, and they're using all these guys. I work there. I know what they do with your data. I know what they're doing. And my only hope was that I could find an alternative. I have nothing to hide, but that's not the point. The point is, it's nobody else's business. And right now, sitting right over there, they built it. So for me, it was a home run right out of the gate as soon as they told me what they could do. And this was years ago. I remember the very first interview, Patrick. You and
You didn't
Marston.
believe us. You didn't believe us.
Nope.
You said there's no fucking way these guys
I said that's what I said.
Can I swear on this?
You just did.
I don't know.
You just did.
Uh-oh. We're gonna get demonetized. Sorry, Scott.
I'm gonna lose $1.80, dude. All right, you owe me $2. Nobody watches us. It doesn't matter, because
send it to you in Jackal.
The real alpha, the thing that changes lives, happens on this show. So, and the people who watch us tend to do well. But no, I didn't believe it. Not for a second. As soon as you told me, I said, nope, there's no way. You can't do it. I understand blockchain, not to the level that you guys do, but I know what it is. I'm looking at the ledger, same as you're looking at the spreadsheet, and I'm going, I don't see how you do it. But you did. And that video, you know what? Maybe I'll repost that. The very first interview with Patrick and Marston on this show because
Please
I was wide open in saying it, dude. People love nostalgia, and
my goodness.
what you've done.
You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go all the way back to December of 2021 to find that video.
That was before I quit my job. I was still sitting in the office. Was I wearing a suit? Was I wearing a suit too?
You were wearing a button-up shirt. You had your. I'm wearing this.
I think you had taken this. I think you had taken the suit jacket off.
You were
still in the office. Yeah. Yep.
You had the sleeves rolled up just like that. I wore this just for you, man, because I'm telling you, I'm going to re-release that video. I'm going to put that out there. I'll put it on the tweeter, and it's just fun to see from where you were to where you are. I think it's absolutely intriguing. All right. Anyway, Belle, do we have anything else, or are we good to go here?
Oh, yeah, we do. The questions did kind of pile in toward the end there. So
lightning round them.
Microman. So the only thing left after a nuclear war is cockroaches and Jackal?
Yes. Carry on.
Yep, that's it.
Carry on.
That's all that's left.
All right, old man, drop in the comment. Jackal is Deadpool.
It really is, dude. It's a self-healing network, man.
We got cockroaches. We have Jackal. We have Scott's vape juice. What else do we got? We got anything else?
Deadpool
what else
now.
will survive? Deadpool.
Yeah, we've got Deadpool now.
We got Deadpool. Yeah.
All right, Astro King. Is the 2 cents for 2 gigabytes of storage going to be permanent, or is that an introductory price to attract new users and will go up over time?
Yeah, so if you look at the protocol, we actually have to set like the storage like payments. The governance does this, so we give suggestions based on like meta economic things. But essentially, we have to say, okay, like 1 byte of data is worth X amount of dollars. So the 2 gigabytes for 2 cents is actually like $8 a month per terabyte. So it's actually like the same price all across the board. There's no different prices for different tiers. So we can't do that with the technology at its current state.
All right. Hopeful Hobo, will the Jackal lockup for storage providers be lowered?
Ooh.
Yeah, I hope so. Actually, that's a good question because we were talking about this internally today. We have to lower it because when we had that, I think Jackal was what, 2 cents?
2 cents, dude.
Jackal.
Yeah,
it wasn't a big
cents.
deal. What was it, $50? So it's a little bit more expensive now. So we're gonna have to put an on-chain parameter. I'll actually message Marston right now to lower that because that's important. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and I'd talked to Patrick Marston about that. We have 18 more providers we're ready to bring online. Cherry, man. Absolutely top-notch, everything's ready to go. But I was looking at it, I was like, this is gonna cost me like $140,000 to bring these servers up. So maybe we should address it before I do it. Anyway, carry on, Belle.
All right, user, I see you. With the risk of spamming Patrick with this question, but are there any updates on a deal with casinos for their cameras data storage?
That would be sick.
Yeah. It would be really cool. Regarding camera footage, so the big barrier there is regulation around like privacy stuff. And it's kind of silly to think about it this way, right? Jackal, arguably the most secure and like the highest privacy posture possible.
Right.
But but regulation has put things in place where you have to have data within the borders of a specific geographical region. So currently the way the Jackal is set up is it doesn't discriminate between storage providers. It just says, okay, we're going to safeguard this file and we'll make sure that no matter what happens, it will be safeguarded and we'll move it all around the world if we need to. In a coming upgrade, in the V4 upgrade, I think Marston has this. I don't know if it's going to be in V4 or shortly afterwards, but we're going to have the ability to do this where you can like whitelist providers and you can say, I want all my data to be within this geographical region and I want the chain to enforce that. And that's okay. If you have regulation, it's important. You shouldn't like ignore the regulation because they're going to come get you. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we can be malleable enough, and luckily we're modular enough that we can make these changes on the fly without having to force ourselves to be a marketplace model where you have to manage each deal individually and you have no like guarantees that the file will always be there and you have to manage your encryption keys locally and all that kind of terrible UX that is the current standard. So yeah, it's just that engineering problem. So hopefully with V4 we'll be able to do that, and then we have a bunch of deals in the pipeline that is waiting for like this specific application.
Oh yeah,
It's
what kind of deals are those? Who are they with? Can you name names?
I can't name names. We haven't even. They're not even piloted yet, Scott. I'm gonna name names just because they gave Jaden a phone call.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm asking for here, man. Look, you
Yeah, that's the
understand what
Web
our
three standard. That's the Web3 standard of partnerships. Apparently, one phone call and then we're partners.
we're there, man. Go ahead, carry on, Bill.
Um,
All right. The EU will mandate a cutoff switch for all chain contracts. This means the EU Gov can control people's access to Jackal. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so Jackal's a public good, right? And it's not a contract built on a blockchain. It's a blockchain built in. It's just a blockchain, right? So we don't really have many smart contracts involved at all. It's all built directly into the chain. We do have some smart contracts, so it might be difficult. I don't know how they're going to regulate this. It's going to be a nightmare for them, but depending on the regulation, like some outposts might not let you if it's like a smart contract based outpost on another chain. But most of that regulation is like not associated. And this is actually a good conversation to have around regulation in blockchain technology to begin with. We're kind of hitting this critical pivot point where it's not just finance. It's a lot more than finance now. And you can't regulate it like finance, right? Like you shouldn't have to pay like capital gains if you send a file between two parties, or you shouldn't have to pay capital gains if you have to do a gas payment to change the permissions of a file. It doesn't make any sense. And we're getting involved with regulation pretty heavily up here in Canada. And I know we have Kyle down in the United States that we speak with quite a bit. And we're making sure that it's regulated properly, and it should be regulated industry by industry, not blanket regulation over the top. And for the EU stuff, smart contracts might have to be regulated, maybe. But if that's not for you, you can always come to the Jackal protocol directly and use the public good natively on chain.
All right. Last question for the evening coming in from Microman. As we move forward and staking emissions lower, how will stakers continue to earn?
How will stakers continue to earn? Well, stakers will always continue to earn, right? We have to have a security budget to secure the chain because that's also how validators make a living. But it's also not about overpaying for security in the economics. We shouldn't have to be paying like 20%, 30%, 60% for security.
No.
Bootstrapping phase, yes, 100%. But as you start to get into the zone of scaling and getting into the zone of growth, it's not necessary to have that big of a security budget because at the end of the day, it's a loss on the balance sheet if you look at the protocol like a business, right? When it comes to having less inflation or less staking rewards, that just means that there's more scarcity in the protocol, making the Jackal asset like more of a or commodity more of a valued asset, and it's more scarce now. So it doesn't really change. We don't really speak on price or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really change anything. It's just making sure that we have a proper security budget.
All right. Well, I'm taking it over, guys. If we missed your questions, I do apologize. You had the whole show to get them in, but it's you know what? It's he's a busy man. We want to let him get to it. Guys, there was so much alpha dropped in this stream, and I hope you were able to read between the lines because everything that you want to know was just put out. Now, Cosmos DeFi, that's Joe. If you guys haven't seen him over on Twitter, give a follow to @Cosmos DeFi because Joe, he goes at this reporting a little bit differently than we do, but he brings tons of value. But we're I'm sharing my videos with him and allowing him to chop them up and put them out, and you are going to see some. It's going to be an absolute smoke show when he cuts this one up because the what Patrick just told you, it should be everything that you need to know about Jackal. Everything that you need to know about Jackal as both a user and as an entertainer, because we can't use the I word. I learned something. I didn't know any of this stuff, Bell. But yeah, he certainly gave it to us. Anyway, Patrick, if you could please, sir, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever you need, go ahead and talk yourself out of here. We'll turn it over to Bell and we will carry on.
Yeah, and there's not much else to say at the end of the day. I got to get going,
I
but
know.
when it comes to it, it's we're excited about what we're building. We're excited about what the future of this technology is going to look like. And if you are vision aligned with us, we'd love to have you come join the community and contribute to this open source public good. Discord, Twitter, Telegram. If you're a developer, feel free to hop into the GitHub and start nerding out. But at the end of the day, we're just here to just try to have an impact for humanity when it comes to privacy posture, interoperability, and just having an awesome storage layer for the next 100 years or beyond.
All right, get us out of here, Belle.
All right. Again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we cannot say thank you guys enough. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Now, with that being said, if you guys have any more comments, questions, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to Scott or myself, Scott at ThePodcast.com or Bella at ThePodcast.com, and we'll get those answered for you. We will also forward any other questions you may have for Patrick over to him so he can address those. We are going to be back on Saturday at our normal time of 6 p.m. Central Standard. Again, we can't do this without you guys, and we'll see you Saturday.
We are dropping new videos and podcasts every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And be sure to look for us on Instagram, Twitter, and Parler at ThePodocasts. Also, visit our page at ThePodocasts.com, all one word, for all of our most current